Oh my God, let me tell you what really went down in Paris. Because honey, this wasn't the fairy tale comeback Meghan Markle had planned. Everyone thought this was going to be her moment. You know, that I'm back, bigger than ever type of entrance. Cameras flashing, Balenciaga front row, all eyes on her. A royal-turned Hollywood diva reclaiming her crown. But the second she walked into that venue, the air shifted. It was cold. Not Paris chic cold, I mean ice. One stylist whispered, "You could feel the air freeze when she came in." No smiles, no friendly hellos, no, "Oh my God, you look amazing," just silence. Eyes following her every step, judging, not admiring. And listen, you'd think a duchess showing up at Paris Fashion Week would cause chaos. Paparazzi shouting her name, editors rushing for selfies, influencers practically fainting for attention. Nope. It was quiet, awkwardly quiet. Meghan strutted down that carpet, chin up like she owned the city, but nobody, and I mean nobody, stepped forward. It was like everyone agreed to keep a safe little bubble around her. The photographers took their shots, sure, but even they looked bored. You could tell the spark wasn't there. And behind that thick layer of polite silence, the whispers began. Fast, sharp, and absolutely vicious. Because the insiders already knew something the rest of us didn't. And honey, this is where it gets messy. Backstage, total chaos, but not for the reasons you think. Word started spreading among the crew and the gossip was scorching hot. Apparently, Meghan didn't exactly smell her best that night. Yeah, I know. Shocking, right? Multiple people swore they noticed it. The breath, the body odor. One called it a mix of cheap perfume and stress. Ouch. Another insider said, you could tell the glam team was panicking. They were spraying everything they could. Can you imagine? The stylists in a silent panic, waving bottles of setting spray and perfume while trying to keep that perfect Duchess glow intact. And Meghan? She just smiled through it all, kept pulling her scarf closer to her face, acting like nothing was wrong. But you could see the makeup artist's eyes, exhausted. Someone even joked, you can fix bad foundation, but you can't fix that smell. Brutal, but that's the fashion world. Fast, quiet, merciless. By the end of the night, the rumor had hit the lobby like wildfire. Nobody was talking about Balenciaga's designs anymore. Nope, it was all Meghan. That's the thing about Paris. You can show up late, you can be arrogant, even scandalous, but bad hygiene? Non, merci. Paris will never forgive that. And the whispers didn't stop there. Oh no. After the show, the talk got louder. Turns out her whole look, that supposed fashion moment, was more of a last-minute scramble than a royal-level invitation. Balenciaga hadn't rolled out the red carpet for Meghan, not at all. In fact, insiders claimed her outfit wasn't even custom. Not gifted, not tailored, just borrowed. They gave her one pair of black heels, and that was it. The rest, pulled together at the last minute, tags still attached. And in the fashion world, that's not just a detail, that's a message. You see, for celebrities, getting free clothes from a designer is a status symbol. It means the brand believes you'll bring value to their name. But Meghan, she had to return everything after the show. No custom fit, no personal touches, no this was made for you moment. It was cold, transactional, like a stylist doing her a small favor. And for Paris insiders, that said it all. Meghan wasn't in the circle. But wait, here's where the story goes from awkward to downright chilling. People started whispering that after the show, Meghan took a little drive through the tunnel. That tunnel, the Pont de l'Alma, the very place where Princess Diana's life tragically ended. At first, everyone thought it was a coincidence, but then her own team claimed she didn't know. She didn't realize that was the tunnel. Come on. People who know Meghan, who've seen her obsession with Diana, couldn't believe that. One insider swore she had actually filmed herself there, deliberately, to honor Diana. But others weren't so sure. They said she wanted to walk the same path, to evoke the same emotion, to blur the line between herself and the woman who had once held the world's love. And that, my friend, is where people started getting creeped out. Because how could someone so media savvy, so image conscious not know? Meghan had studied Diana's life. Friends say she watched the funeral footage over and over again. She knew every detail, every scene, so how could she not recognize the tunnel? The answer? She did. And that's what makes it so unsettling. And if you thought the tunnel story was the peak of drama, oh sweetie, we're just getting started. Because when Meghan tried to play innocent, saying she didn't know the history behind that tunnel, the whispers in Paris turned into a roar. People weren't buying it. They said, come on, this woman built her entire image around Diana. They remembered her interviews. The teary confessions, the comparisons, the same tilted head poses. Everything from her outfits to her body language screamed Diana 2.0. So when she drove through that exact spot, it didn't feel like tribute. It felt like theater, like she was trying to write herself into the same tragedy. Creepy, calculated, and way too on the nose. And then, the hypocrisy bomb dropped. Remember how Meghan once stood there calling the British press cruel and dangerous? How she said they destroyed Diana? How she and Harry were victims of the same machine? Well, guess who they gave their biggest interview to? CBS. Yeah, that's CBS. The American network that had paid to air the photos of Diana's final moments. The same footage that haunted Harry's childhood. While the world mourned, CBS made millions off Diana's death. And years later, Meghan and Harry walked right back to them, hand in hand, ready to spill royal secrets for primetime ratings. The very network that cashed in on Diana's tragedy became their stage for sympathy. That wasn't just tone deaf, it was cruel irony. Paris caught that hypocrisy fast. The insiders, the editors, the designers, they whispered it like a secret everyone already knew. They said, she's using the same woman she claims to protect. That was the moment the illusion cracked. Because even behind the glamorous smiles, he looked tired, confused, like a man who had realized that the spotlight he ran toward had turned into a searchlight, and then it hit people. The story wasn't inspiring anymore. It was tragic in a different way. The charm had faded. The illusion had cracked. Meghan Markle was no longer the mystery. She was the headline that everyone had already read too many times. And this time, there was no new spin, no Oprah special to rewrite it. When she finally left Paris, the cameras still flashed, but the warmth was gone. The applause? Polite, not passionate. The kind of clapping you give when the performance is over and you just want to go home. Behind her, the whispers filled the silence she left behind. Paris, the city that once adored Diana, had no room for imitation. Because that's the truth about Paris. It doesn't reward pretenders. It exposes them. And that week, it exposed Meghan completely. People who'd once gushed about her glow now whispered that she looked exhausted. Her smile was practiced, her charm forced. She's trying too hard, someone murmured. You can see it in her eyes. And once Paris decides you're trying too hard, game over. By the end of it all, she wasn't shining under those runway lights anymore. She was standing in their glare, and in that harsh, unforgiving light, the difference between her and Diana became crystal clear. Diana's light came from love, genuine, effortless love that even tragedy couldn't dim. Meghan's came from performance, bright but hollow, beautiful but brief. Those who saw her backstage said it softly but firmly. It wasn't royalty we were watching. It was imitation. And that tunnel, that dark, haunting tunnel, it stopped being a symbol of loss. It became a warning that no matter how much she chases Diana's reflection, she'll never find her own identity in it. When the lights faded and the crowd dispersed, there was no triumphant exit, no golden comeback, just the sound of heels clicking down an empty corridor and the faint hum of cameras being packed away. She came to Paris hoping to be remembered, and she will be, but not for grace, not for kindness, not for power. She'll be remembered for that night when the act ended, and the truth finally took the stage.